Welcome to a new deep dive. Today, we're unpacking the really extraordinary but ultimately tragic story of Annaji Datto. You might not instantly recognize the name, actually.
Probably not. But he was absolutely crucial.
Yeah, crucial to the foundations of the Maratha Empire under Shivaji Maharaj. Our sources paint him as, well, not a warrior, but the Sachiv.
Right, the Sachiv. Chief Secretary and Record Keeper in Shivaji's famous Ashta Pradhan Mandal, the Council of 8 Ministers.
So think of him like the chief operating officer,
Yeah.
deeply involved in the real nuts and bolts.
Exactly. Administration, finance, civil reforms. It was all under his purview, essentially.
Royal correspondence, land records.
Meticulous land records, yes.
Yeah.
And those groundbreaking revenue policies. He was making sure the state actually functioned day to day.
The unseen architect, kind of, and purely civil, never a military role.
Indeed. And the Sachiv position itself, being one of those core 8 ministers, really underscores how vital that civilian role was considered by Shivaji. Anaji Datto was that calm, insightful voice in governance, responsible for, the smooth flow of information, executing policy.
Making sure things got done properly.
Absolutely. And he was instrumental in setting up systems that lasted, like Shivaji's innovative land revenue system.
That was a big one, wasn't it?
Huge. It moved away from relying on those often exploitative intermediary tax collectors.
Towards something more direct.
Exactly. More direct, more equitable for the peasants. It really boosted the state's money while, easing the burden on ordinary people. Revolutionary for its time, really.
Secured the financial backbone. Incredible.
It really did.
So for years, Annaji Datto is this quiet force behind Shivaji's throne, architect of stability. But then, the death of a king, especially a leader like Shivaji, that often creates a dangerous power vacuum, doesn't it?
Always a precarious moment. And yes, it was right in that void, that chaos, after Shivaji's death in 1680, that Annaji's story takes this sharp, dramatic turn.
A tragic turn.
Definitely. Because our sources are pretty clear.
He made the, deeply controversial decision not to support Sambhaji Maharaj's succession.
Even though Sambhaji had the rightful claim.
Yes. Instead, he sided with Soyirabai, Shivaji's second wife.
And the plan was
to try and make her younger son, Rajaram, the king instead. It was a clear political plot, an attempted coup, really.
Wow. Trying to keep Sambhaji away from power.
And it wasn't just Annaji Datto acting alone here. He allied himself with other prominent figures.
Who?
Powerful generals, some others from Shivaji's inner circle were involved. It was a whole faction.
What was their thinking? Why go against Sambhaji?
Well, historians suggest a few things. Maybe some genuinely feared Sambhaji's perceived impetuousness, or felt he didn't have the right temperament for ruling.
Or maybe just raw ambition. That's the other view. Pure ambition. A desire to exert control through a regency, with the younger Rajaram as a figurehead.
Control through youth and maybe perceived vulnerability.
Precisely. Crown Rajaram, guide him, maybe control him. It just highlights those treacherous currents during succession. Loyalty gets tested severely.
So the architect of stability becomes, an instigator of chaos. How did Sambhaji react? I mean, this is a direct challenge from someone highly respected.
Sambhaji's response was incredibly swift, lightning fast, really.
Yeah.
Showed a political sharpness maybe some hadn't expected.
He didn't hesitate.
Not at all. He asserted his authority immediately, swept the conspiracy aside. He seized control of Raigad Fort, the capital.
Declare himself king.
Declared himself king and then promptly arrested the conspirators.
Including Annaji Datto.
Including Anaji Datto, yes. This brilliant administrator was captured along with the others.
And the outcome for him?
Tragic. He was executed around 1681 on Sambhaji's orders for treason, likely at Raigad or somewhere nearby.
Wow. So if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, Annaji Datto's legacy is really twofold, isn't it?
Absolutely. On one hand, a skilled, vital administrator, a close aide to Shivaji, essential to the state running smoothly.
But on the other,
his decision, that fatal decision, to oppose Sambhaji Maharaj's rightful claim, that led directly to his downfall.
It's almost Shakespearean. The very person who helped build the system tries to subvert its own rules of succession.
It really makes you think.
Yeah, it raises a really important question for you listening. How does this story, the tale of Annaji Datto, illuminate that precarious balance, that tension between administrative brilliance and, political judgment.
especially during those critical moments of leadership transition.
Exactly. And what can we maybe learn about the unpredictable nature of loyalty, of ambition, when power itself is suddenly up for grabs?
And how quickly someone's invaluable contributions, years of service, can be overshadowed by a single fateful choice. Something to consider.